Hello, I'm Laurel Huston,
And I'm Briana Anderson.
and this is the Bougie Boardroom, where luxury meets leadership, mentoring for women, ready for wealth embodiment, strategy with soul and sparkle. And today's episode is manifestation. What is it really? And Brianna, I know that there are so many people who, I mean, you and I follow a ton of people who teach manifestation.
Yes.
But in this first 2 minutes,
Uh-huh.
what are we going to teach them about manifestation that no one else is teaching?
I think that you and I are kick-ass at the practical outlets of the spiritual world. I think we're going to get into the practicality of it and really ground it so that we're not helping people feel more confused, but more structured in their process to
Yep.
bring spirit into the science.
I 100% agree with that because that is honestly where you and I shine. It's not just about the thinking happy thoughts. It's no, if you want something to go from the spiritual world to the physical world, you have to physically do something.
Yes, yes.
And so,
Ironic.
yeah. And so I'm like, oh, this is going to be so good. So,
Love
what
it.
is your favorite part about manifestation or teaching manifestation? Like, where do you want to start?
That's a loaded question. So I'm
I
going to
know, right?
I think we should really nail on why someone would want to know what manifestation can do for them.
hmm
And really, for me, it's all about potential. So I get excited to teach it because I'm like, no, like we're just so much of our potentiality and we don't even know it.
hmm
Um, but I'm curious, what are you feeling called to? Like, where do you want to start for
No, I
it?
want to start there. So keep going.
Okay. So, but what manifestation can do for someone, I think, is really just digging into. So I have all this potential, right? And someone is like, I'm doing all the things, and you've probably hit a different experience, but I remember going, I'm feeling so defeated all the time. Defeat was my natural vibration, like defeat, 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 defeat.
hmm
And I remember breaking down in the shower just crying. I'm like, I'm doing all the things right. So from that place, that's where I started opening up to manifestation because I was a perfectionist checking off boxes and still felt like for some reason Brianna's the only one in the world that can't figure it out. So I want to bring it to like what people can actually experience beyond the rules they've been given. And you are an expert at helping people break rules, so let's not pretend that's not there. But do share with us what manifestation means for you, if you would.
Absolutely. So for me, manifestation is when your heart and
Mhm.
your head are aligned with your higher power.
Yes.
If
Mhm.
I was to make it super, super simple, when the
Mhm.
head, the heart, and the higher power are all like, yep, it shows up. And it shows up. And here's the crazy thing. Some people are like, oh, it was an answer to prayers. It was a miracle. It was a blessing. Like, pick
Yeah.
your word. I don't care. But really, what it is you got what you asked for.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
here's the crazy part that no one talks about with manifestation.
Yes.
We are manifesting all the time. It's just a lot of times we manifest things that we don't want.
Yep.
But that's where our focus is.
Yes.
That's
Absolutely.
where we put energy. And so I'm like, if you can put as much
Hmm.
focus, intention, and energy towards the things that you do want instead of running away from the things that you don't want, because guess what? Running takes a lot of effort.
Yeah, it does. Hmm.
So you
Yep.
can run from what you don't want, or you can run to what you do want, but either way,
Hmm.
you're using energy. Are you
Yes.
using it how you want to use it?
Hmm.
The other thing when you were talking about potential, um, I can't remember what it was, but I posted a little while ago on social media and it said, are you actually in love with their potential, or are you just waiting for someone to give you permission to reach yours?
Yeah. Right. Hmm.
That is why so many people get, I really want to say the word obsessed with manifestation
Yeah.
because they do want permission to reach their potential. And so a lot of times people get into manifestation because they're like, is this the thing that's going to give me permission? But here's why it doesn't, because you're still trying to earn it.
Yeah.
You're still trying to be worthy of it. And that's not how manifestation works.
Mm-mm. So that's a good pause because I know what someone's going to ask right after you said that.
Absolutely.
That's not how it works. Then how does it work, right? Like, and I think this is where it gets really personal. But yeah, when can I ask? And you don't have to answer. But what was the one experience where you're like, this, holy crap, this actually works? Do you have one of those?
Oh, I have so many.
Uh-huh.
Like this is and I can't even like list one. So the house that we're currently living in,
Yeah.
I saw it. I got a hold of my realtor. She got back to me. She's like, "Oh, it's not on the market anymore." And I said, "Well, we're headed down there on Saturday. I bet it'll be back on the market." It was back on the market. We were not the only person that put a bid or an offer in. We weren't even the people that put the best offer in. But I was like, "No, this is our house. This is where we're going to be." The van that I'm driving, my husband's truck, how many children I have, and the order that they were born in. Um,
Yes.
my ring,
Uh-huh.
my wedding ring that my husband never saw a picture of, but that I drew through all of college.
That's really cool.
And so there's so many, and those are like the positive things. How many clients I have every year, financial goals, health goals. Have I received everything I've ever tried to manifest? No, but there's far more things that I do have than don't have.
Yeah, absolutely. That's way cool. Yeah, it's the
And
experience
for
talk.
me, sorry, this is the last thing. It's the passion behind it because the things that I haven't gotten, and this is what I say about alignment with the heart, the head, and the higher power. We were in alignment. Like I
Mhm.
could I could think about it, but my heart was kind of like wah wah wah.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Or
Uh-huh.
my heart was like, we want this, and my head was like, what are you go how are you going to do that? Do you really think you're worthy of it? Oh my gosh, that's going to acquire so much responsibility. So and so when I say alignment, when you have to have a conversation with yourself, if you are in debate with yourself, that is a sure sign you're not in alignment.
Yep, that's true. Because you'll naturally take action, which I think is the missing piece, right?
Yes. So,
hmm
yes.
So and just to go back to the questions for our listener. So in your experience, how does manifestation work? And you said it's the head and the heart and our higher power connected,
Mm-hmm.
right?
In alignment.
In alignment. I love
Hmm.
that. Okay.
So, because I love alliterations. So it's the head, the heart, and the higher power all in a line.
hmm hmm
And the visual that I just got for this is that that's when we feel supported. When your
hmm
head and your heart are in alignment with your higher power, doubt doesn't show up. And if it does, you feel supported enough to take action anyway.
Yes.
And when your head and your heart and your higher power are in alignment, things that don't make sense logically, but make sense emotionally, you trust.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Because the heart is about desire.
hmm
The head is the logistics, it's the system. So you've got the feminine heart, you've got the masculine head, and you have the creative ability in your higher power.
hmm
It's literal creation.
Creation energy.
Hmm.
And I think you've probably crossed this too. I know for me, I did. Having to get on board with the identity that I am a creator
So
goes
much.
against so much against maybe structures out there or institutions that would tell you that you are the effect to a harsh world, or you are the effect to your circumstances, or not having money or love is the effect to your just reality. And we're taught like to hand over our power. And I know that you probably had to discover
Mm.
that the hard way too. Um,
Well,
yeah.
and also what I was and wasn't allowed to manifest.
hmm hmm Yes, because of the desire, I would think. Would you
Well,
say so?
and it was so to kind of go along with what you were saying, it was like, okay, well, you're allowed to ask for a home and a family and a husband.
hmm
You're allowed to ask for those things and expect them, but was I also allowed to manifest a $50,000 month?
Yes. It's the taboos, right? It's the taboos of the Western culture, but yet everyone wants it, but don't talk about it. It's like, and also I think, can we hit on one thing that's coming through real good for me?
Yes.
Is like with manifestation and half-heartedness and just people thinking that they're using their whole heart, but really they're not. They're using their whole effort. And there's a
Say
big
that again. People need
okay,
to hear that again.
that's what's coming through so hard is like manifestation is half-heartedness is when people are not using their full heart. They're trying to overcompensate their half-heartedness for whole effort.
Yeah.
And I think that was the paradigm shift for me where it was like, wait a minute, I'm efforting so hard that I left my heart at the door back at like this trauma back here. And so I think people want to manifest from a place of lack and they want to keep their heart out because they don't trust the desire or the ability that their heart does actually know what they want. And I think what you said was so potent because unless you know what your heart wants, you are manifesting what mainstream ideas are presenting to you. You
Yeah.
should want this, but why?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Well, and my biggest thing with manifestation is that some of I'm going to say it that way, some of the mainstream popular beliefs about manifestation,
mhm,
like positive thinking. Okay,
yeah.
that doesn't mean everything is unicorns and rainbows. And if you have a bad day, that you just ended your manifestation and you can't have it anymore. No, when people talk about positive thinking, they're talking about certainty thinking.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
am positive this is coming to me, not everything is awesome and the world is wonderful
Yeah.
and I'm not allowed to have a bad day or I can't have what I want anymore. No, that's not what positive thinking is. Positive thinking is certainty thinking.
Yes. Hmm. Hmm. It's really cool that you say that because I'm like, okay, so if we were to just help someone who's, and let's be honest, our listener is not on the ground, but for those that are, it's like, it's very scientific. And for whatever reason, it got this
Hmm.
spiritual rap so that people would get distracted by what is actually happening.
Yeah.
And if you go study the quantum physics and the actual energy field and the grid and these
Uh-huh.
different words you've never heard before, it's like, okay, why would affirmations work? You have to look under, and you and I are damn good at this, right? Like,
Mhm.
this is what everyone's saying. And then we're going to expose the root beyond what they're not saying so that you actually understand the structure because manifestation without structure, people are labeling as chaos and then saying, well, creation is chaos. And
No,
it's
it's
like, what
not.
is it? See, there it is. I'm like, and I knew you'd have a response about this, but that's where I know that I personally got lost for years when I could have just had inspiration, taken action, and repeat, right? So talk to us about that.
Creation is never chaotic.
Hmm.
Creation requires flow and structure. And
Hmm.
here's why I say that. Nothing that's ever been created was created without patterns or cycles or recognition.
Hmm.
Here's the thing, and people are not going to like this, and I'm going to say it anyways. Creation is predictable,
Hmm. Hmm.
and it may not mean it meets your timeline, but it's predictable all the way to reproduction.
Yeah.
For us to say, oh, it's chaotic. So, what's chaotic would be that an egg spontaneously becomes fertilized without being in having any introduction to sperm.
Hmm. Hmm.
Chaos is when, and I know people can get into the chaos theory, but it's like, okay, what happens when it does get chaotic? When you all of a sudden have trees that are going into full bloom, but we get a snowstorm out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Creation is then ended. We don't get fruit from that tree.
Hmm.
When
Hmm.
chaos comes in, creation ends.
I love that.
But people like to label it as chaotic because it's not happening in the cycle or time frame that they want it to,
Hmm.
but it is absolutely happening in the cycle and the rhythm that it is supposed to. It's actually one of the universal laws of
Hmm.
rhythm.
Yep.
The
Yep.
universal law, like, and so I'm like, so if it feels chaotic to you, it's because you're trying to force it
Right.
to match you instead of what happens. And when you try to force things, it's like I'm gonna use just human life. When you try to make babies grow faster than they're supposed to grow, it is chaotic because all of a
Hmm.
sudden you're like, my niece just had her baby this over the weekend, so that's why this is fresh in my mind. She's 4 weeks early. And so there was some chaos there because they're like, okay, the baby's 4 weeks early. How are her lungs? How's her latch? There are all these things that they're like, this didn't happen in the time frame that it usually happens in. So are all the structures in place?
Yeah, absolutely.
So if manifestation feels chaotic versus manifestation feels miraculous,
Hmm.
those are different sensations.
Hmm.
Because the
Absolutely.
miracle usually creates gratitude, where chaos creates anxiety.
Mhm. I think, and I could be wrong, at least from people that I've witnessed and observed, it's like there's times where they don't trust the universe
Yep.
or their creator and or both or themselves. And without trust, and I love that it's gotten brought up like five times naturally. Because without trust, it's like you will override natural cycles. But I think a lot of people, and you tell me if you see this, the problem that I see is that because they don't have trust, they're not just trying to force it, but then it doesn't actually last. Like I remember manifesting this huge, huge financial win. And then the next day it was like, now we're not even at base, we're below that. So it's like the up, down, up, down, up, down. And then it was like, what is the science behind manifestation? And why am I a one-hit wonder here and then completely in devastation here? And I see
Mhm.
people a lot of the times they'll create chaos because they'll mistake it for movement or momentum is a good word.
Yes.
And they're trying to see that it's happening in the outer world because they're so impatient.
Mhm.
Right? So do you see that too? Like where people are like, I'll just do something so that it feels like something is happening.
Something's better than nothing because I have to earn it. So I have to do. So I'm going to go back to something that you said because I want what, because you said you're like, I went from this one hit
Wonder.
to consistent. What did you change? Because that I know I've been there. I've been the person that I'm like, okay, I created that. Can I create it again? What
Yes.
to you is the thing that takes you from a one and done miracle versus this is the new standard. This is the new expectation. This is from this point forward, this is what it is.
Mm. The first thing that comes to mind because this is so fresh and a lot of I mean it's like an onion, right? It's like I
Mhm.
wish I would have known the model of growth is not linear. It's very cyclical. I wish I would have had that exposure. But to answer your question very simply, the first thing that comes to mind is I stopped playing the urgency game and I shifted into the long-term game. So what that did for my nervous system, because I got tired of like, well, my nervous system's good here, but it's not here. So the
Mhm.
biggest shift I made recently was I'm going to play the long-term game, assuming that I'm at the end of my life, I'm 100 years old, whatever. And I'm just going to play the long-term game so that when I enter the gym, I'm working out from a place of someone who has built a body of 10 years. And it allows me to slow down because I've already gone to the end. And if this is feeling complex, it's really not. I hope it sounds as simple as I feel it, but
Yes.
I shifted from I need a quick win. I left that paradigm to like, what if all my needs are already met to everything else is just a cherry on top? Let's play the long-term game
Mhm.
because then this is the coolest part. Then when you start getting into affirmations and subliminals and your subconscious, then you understand that every single thought you have is compounding. And it's the same principle in finances. I'm like, no,
Yep.
everything I do today pays off in 10 years from now. But you don't do that if you're needing a quick win. You're like, I'll self-betray to get what I need outside of me. And then you're playing a self-betrayal game. You're not playing a manifestation game. Does that make any
Yep.
sense?
No,
Okay.
so I 100% agree with what you just said because from what I'm hearing you say, and I have this aha as well, when you are trying to use manifestation to force a miracle, and you are using manifestation to help you survive,
Yeah.
it can work. There's a lot of energy and passion put behind that. So, of course, it can work, but that's why you can't repeat it because in order to repeat that same miracle, you have to create that same urgency.
Yeah, that I
And
love.
most of us don't want to live in that. "Ugh." And so it's like, okay, well, last time I created this sense of panic and urgency and I got what I wanted. And so you're training your brain to keep you in panic and urgency, which is the exact opposite of what you just said. No, 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 no. We play the long game. We play
Mhm.
the long game here. And so here's the cool part about that. Not only does it compound, but when you start to get things before the 10-year mark, you're like, I just folded time and space. I just got that 3 years sooner than I thought I would. I just got that 9 years sooner than I thought I would.
Uh-huh.
And
Uh-huh.
all of the sudden you start to take on and claim the identity of I have a master of manifestation
Yes.
versus always being in disappointment, always being in this place of I just didn't get it right.
Yes, that. And I want to be clear, and I know that I just want to say this for the listener. When we say long term, we're not saying long time because it doesn't
Yes.
take a long time. And I think the identity inside of the present moment is more important than any like technique you'll ever learn because that's where bending time in my experience has come. It's like if I can just expand time and space with my present awareness in this moment, then I can call in whatever it's like the observer effect, right? But you can't do that if your reticulating activating system is worried about like fight and flight, right? Like you're saying, you have to be able to start. And I think that's actually really important, listeners. No, gratitude isn't about, oh, just, put a cup, sprinkles over dog crap. It's not
Yep.
about that. Gratitude is helping your system identify where you are okay and then manifesting from I'm okay. And most people don't feel okay. So you have to start somewhere. Do you think that's true?
Yes, and this is where you and I have talked about this, but
Yeah.
a lot of people who teach manifestation try to tell you that your thoughts create your reality. What do I
Hmm.
say to that, Brianna? No, it
No,
doesn't.
your nervous system.
Your nervous system creates your reality.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
it's because of what you just said. So if your nervous system and your brain and your heart are all on overdrive, they're all on panic, but you got the miracle anyway, you
Hmm.
just trained your nervous system that the only time you can get what you ask for is when you're in pain and panic.
I'm freaking out.
And so even when you do your miracle morning and you do all the things to try and be in this beautiful Zen place and your mindset's in a good place, but your nervous system has not calmed down,
Hmm.
even when things are like clear and concise and hey, take this action, you're like, I don't know, but I feel so discontent in my system. Is this really the action I'm supposed to take? And then
Hmm.
we're back to negotiating between our head and our heart and our higher power.
Yes. Hmm. Yes. Hmm.
So, what I want to give people a very practical put this into action.
Yes.
When you start to see shifts, so you pick a goal and you don't have it yet, but you're starting to see shifts that it could be coming, it could be on its way. Maybe you're trying to manifest the love of your life, and all of a sudden, more people are showing interest in you. You're getting asked out on more dates, or you're feeling comfortable to ask people out on more dates.
Hmm.
As you think about it's working, do something to calm your nervous system. Actively create peace and calm. So
Hmm.
that could be breath work. That could be doing a meditation. That could just be something as simple as taking 4 deep breaths
Yep.
and
Hmm.
becoming really present and training your system. I can have anticipation. I don't have to have anxiety.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Because as things get closer and your manifestation comes within your grasp, you're not afraid to reach out to it.
No, not at all. Mm-mm. Yeah.
What is your favorite method of manifestation? Like, do you have a vision board? Do you have affirmations? Do you look at pictures? Do you do it in your journal?
Honestly, the days I feel the best, and thank you for asking that. I was just thinking, what could I give to a listener that would change their life? For me, and
Hmm.
this is just my own experiment. I like to journal, and it's so funny you say that. I am going to show it. I like to journal, and I like to do, it's called self-talk from the end. And it's a practice where I go to the end, assuming that the manifestation has already happened. So
Hmm.
I'm just like, okay, Bree, you accomplished this amazing task or goal. What are you saying to yourself in this moment? And it's like, actually, what are you feeling now that it's happened? Because if I can download my future, I'm not limited to my past.
Yep.
And that might sound like a weird concept, but the more I think about it, I'm like, oh my gosh, all I have to do is sit down and ask the question. So I used to ask, who am I? And I stopped asking that. And then the level above that became, who are you? And I was talking to my future self.
Oh, I
And
love that.
I started asking, well, I know who I am now. Really good on that. Now, who are you? The version of you that has it all, the bank, the money, the things, the happy family, who are you? And she starts talking to me. And that dialogue isn't strange to me. It's just, it's all in the head. And what it does, it's like if I'm going to listen to anyone's opinions, it won't be the noise of society. It's going to be her.
Yep.
So that really works for me. But what is the one habit or behavior that like really helps you manifest that you're like, ooh, this is my go-to?
Hmm. So for me, it is putting myself in the situation. And so it's kind of like, okay, we do this naturally, we just don't recognize it as manifestation. So it's part of the like, okay, I am wanting a specific vehicle, so I'm going to go test drive them.
Oh, I love that. You get as close as you can.
I get as close as I can without putting myself, because here's what I don't want people to do. I'm gonna live as if, okay, if you don't actually have access to 20 grand, don't tell yourself, I'm gonna go pay cash for a $20,000 vehicle.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna see if I qualify for a loan, and I'm not gonna do. And so it's like, no, we're not telling you to not. But the act as if is I am going to decide now that this is going to happen and this is how my life is going to change because of it. Okay. So for me, I focus on creating the sensation.
Mm-hmm.
So, and if it's something that it's like, okay, well, I don't know what it'll be like to hold $1 million in my hand. And I'm pretty sure if I go to the bank and I'm like, can I just hold $1 million? Get a
Hmm.
few eyebrow raises. They're going to be like, oh, are you working on manifestation? No, they're going to be like, we're going to call security. But what I mean by that is if you get really clear on what sensations
Hmm.
and what it actually means for you. Because getting a new van for me was not about a new van. It wasn't about the leather seats. It wasn't about the DVD player for my kids. No, 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 no. Those were details. Those were like, okay, sure. What a
Yeah.
van actually meant to me, what sensation it actually created
Hmm.
was freedom and connection.
Yes.
So that's what I tapped into. I wasn't smelling the leather seat and picturing it and making it real in my mind. I
Hmm.
was picturing the conversations that my husband and I and my three children, as we drive to the beach, are having.
Yes.
I
There.
focused on the sensation of freedom and connection because that's what that actually meant for me.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
So when people, what I tell people is sensation is information. And
Hmm.
the easiest way to create sensation is through emotion. So,
Hmm.
what emotional state? So, for me, it was freedom. That's an emotional state. That feeling of like that exhale,
Yes. Hmm.
feeling the wind blowing through my face as we're driving. And
Hmm.
when I talk about sensation and making it real,
Yeah.
in the situations that I can go test drive the car, I'll test drive the car. I'll put myself in fancy restaurants and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna order an appetizer because that one appetizer costs the same as feeding my entire family for a week, but I'm so glad I got to experience this kind of thing.
Yeah. Right.
So that's part of it. But then I also ask myself and it's part of what you're talking about with claiming your identity.
Hmm.
How will I feel? Here's the nervous system piece of it. How will I feel? Physically feel. Don't just list emotions in your head. What
Right.
will the sensations in your body actually be when you have this?
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
That to me is the missing piece that most people do not teach about manifestation, is that manifestation requires sensation.
Yes. And your body. Yeah.
Exactly. And so you have to have your body. So here's the next piece. I know I'm taking a lot of time this time, but
No. Take it.
when your relationship with your body is more important than any other part of manifestation. Because, like you said, if you don't know what your heart is telling you, this is why your head, your heart, and your higher power can't get in alignment. We're really good at understanding our head. We really are.
Yeah. Really good.
But when we disconnect from our body, we don't know what our heart is asking for. And it's hard to manifest through sensation if you've also disconnected from your body.
Hmm.
But how many people have ever taught you that manifestation is body work, not mind work? What do they always teach you manifestation is?
It's the mindset. And then ironically, their mind gets set.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Manifestation is not about mindset, it's about body set.
Hmm. And I love that too because it's like, and if I hear you correctly, and from my own experience, correct me if you would do it differently. I think the practicality of this is starting with what does my if you're gonna go and set your goals, don't ask your head, right? And I know your whole business is about that. And for those that want to work with Laurel, please do tell them what you say about the clock.
Uh,
Tell them
your your head is the clock, your heart is a compass. If you are feeling lost, stop asking a clock for directions.
yes, that. Because it's like, okay, so I think our listeners need to hear, ask your heart, start there. I think that's the starting place is to ask your heart, what is the goal? What is the desire? What is the direction?
Mhm.
Because when you ask your heart that, your heart's automatically setting the tone, at least from what I experience. And
Yep.
then that very feminine, soft place, I then realize my mind is uh the order in which it's to serve the heart. Does that make sense? Like the
Yep.
head is to serve the heart. And it's like where most of us are doing it backwards. Like the head is 100% in control and they're like, well, when I get the money, then I'll tap into how I'm feeling. And it's like, no, 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 babe. That doesn't work.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's perfect. And I know you've done a lot of manifestation work. So what are some of your manifestations, your favorite manifestations that have come?
My first thought is my partner. I really like him. I manifested him not knowing manifestation as in depth as I do now. The second manifestation I would say is the people that are in my life now, just having way more solid friendships and leaving corporate and starting a business. It feels like it's been like this long 5 year journey, but and that's my point is like I think I'm mostly proud of. I mean, having a huge day in finances, like I remember just having I called you, I think, and I'm like, I
Mhm.
just made 11,000 in one day. How did I do that? Right. And it was so effortless, but it was like, it was so fun. So some of my favorite manifestations, actually, to be honest, aren't the big things. And that's actually what I wanted to focus on. Like sometimes the manifestations are in the details, like going to the grocery store. And like I always get like front seat parking and going like when we travel, I know that you're like, I always get upgrades. And so I think the details really start to matter because they stack. And it's like, wow, today I'm just going to manifest that I have a random client show up. And so those details start to help you climb what I call the ladder of belief. A
Mhm.
lot of other teachers talk about this principle, but if you're to look at the top of a mountain, you're going to think it's a lot of work. But if you were to just start at the top of the mountain and go, okay, what's the next small detail? Suddenly you don't have to eat an elephant all at one sitting. You can take bite sizes. But to answer your question, I think my favorite manifestation has actually just been manifesting I think just ease. And I say this a lot, but I tell people if you want an easy life, you have to invite easy in. That's what I think, that's where I'm at in my life. Like I have harmony in all areas of my life. That's probably my fa favorite manifestation right now. It's like money is not important than my relationships, and relationships aren't more important than my home. And just feeling that well-balanced life, that's been my
Mhm.
favorite thing that I've been able to master. So, what
Mm,
about
no, I
you?
love that.
What's your favorite? Do you have one?
Um, I would say my favorite one is actually the a lot of the experiences I've been able to take my family with.
Yeah.
So it isn't even just like a particular thing. When before I had kids, even before I was married, I had decided I was like, I will be the mom that takes her children around the world.
Heck yes.
And
Mhm.
so that was something that both through planning, but also through random circumstances, my 14-year-old daughter has been to 19 different states in the United States.
That's way cool.
And so to some people that may not seem like the world, but I was like, I know adults who haven't even been to 19 different states, let alone a 14-year-old. And so for
Mm-hmm.
me, it really is being able to share. And it wasn't it well, it goes back to what you were saying at the beginning. It was a long term. Not a long time, but a long term. It was part of my identity.
The
From
vision.
this point forward, I am the woman who gives the people she loves the opportunities to see the world, both
Mm-hmm.
both like physically, but also mentally and spiritually.
Mm-hmm.
So that for me is probably it is both my biggest manifestation, but it's in all the details.
Yes.
It's in
Yeah.
all the details. I'm like, okay, if I want kids that love to travel, I need to train you from a very young age to sit in a car seat for a really long time. And so we didn't like, luckily, where we lived, we were a half an hour away from the nearest grocery store. So they got that really quick. Like a half an hour car seat ride without being entertained for my children was nothing. But
Yeah.
even now,
Right.
yesterday, we went hiking. We went 2 hours away from where we were. There were no electronics in the car, no one was on their tablets. We sat and talked to each other and daydreamed and planned spring break together as a family. And just to put this in, like, I have an 8, 11, and 14-year-old. So the age range is all about entertain me. And yet
Hmm.
I was like, no, we are a family that travels and connects.
Yep. And connects to each other. Yep.
And so a big part for me with manifestation, and you mentioned this, but we kind of glossed over it, and I want to go back to it because it's really important. It is claiming the identity.
Hmm.
So I have claimed the identity of travel and adventure and experiences and learning through experiences.
Absolutely.
And so when I am asked to forego that identity,
Hmm.
it's an absolute no.
Because you know who you are. You know what
Because
you're
I
at.
know who I am. And so this is where, with the heart, when people are like, I don't even know what I want, it's because you're asking your head or you're allowing other people to tell you what you want. I wasn't
Mhm.
going to bring this story up, but you and I have talked about it a lot. So one of the things that I was told I should manifest as a business owner is that I should want a $10 million business or a $50 million business or all the things. And I'm like, I don't really want a $10 million business. I want like a $3 million business. I don't want an HR team. I don't want an on-hand, on-call lawyer. I don't want to deal with the paperwork and the team that it would take
Hmm.
to consistently have and operate a $50 million business. Can that change? Sure. But in this age and stage of my life, the only reason I was trying to have a $10 million business was because everyone told me that that's what I should want.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I was like, yeah, no, actually, right now, I want like a third of that.
Yes. And it's the honesty piece.
And here's the cool thing. As soon as I shifted that, because here's the wild part about it. I was having mentors and experts tell me that I should be going for this seven-figure business when at the time I hadn't even hit six figures yet.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
I'm like, you want me to process having a 7 or 8 figure business when I haven't even had a 6 figure business yet? I mean, this was years ago. So here's the crazy part. When I let go of the identity of having an 8 figure business, I had my first 6 figure business and haven't gone under that since. Like multiple 6 figures ever since that. Because I was like, no, that's alignment.
This is what I want. Yes.
The half
Absolutely.
million dollar a year, the $250,000 a year, the $1 million a year, like that all of a sudden, because my nervous system was like, yeah, that's great.
Mm. Absolutely.
And even now, when I think about having a $10 million business, it's like, okay, well, my nervous system feels more okay with that, having worked with the larger numbers. And when I think about all of the other things that go along with that, I'm like, not there yet. And
Yeah.
and I stopped shaming myself for that.
Hmm. Hmm.
Manifestation will never happen through shame.